What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button and let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, new on the RC 4-wheel drive website is the 1/14th Rally Race Semi. This is a model produced by JD Customs, as it says on their website, and it's got a cool style to it with a metal rear Dakar kind of rally box. The sides and rear all open up. The construction of it looks pretty cool. It's got all metal axle housings underneath. It does have leaf sprung suspension, and it's got kind of like a radius arm style to keep them braced. RC 4-wheel drive had kind of a Dakar rally truck style vehicle before. I'm not sure exactly how closely this model is to the previous. Not sure what updates or what changes or what parts are shared between the two of them. Either way, it's a pretty cool looking deal. It is a 1/14th scale truck, but a lot of the dimensions are very similar to trucks that you probably already own. The wheelbase is just under 13 inches. The width is just over 8 inches, and it says the total length is 22 inches. It does have a 2-speed transmission in it and front and rear selectable lockers in the axles. Ready to run. Almost $1,300 though. Not a cheap RC, but a pretty cool one, definitely unique. I believe that I covered the first version of the Dakar rally style truck from RC 4-wheel drive in one of the very earliest Scale News updates quite some time ago. So if you're interested in this, I'll link in the description below where you can find more details about this truck, as well as links to the rest of today's stories. Next, we have some news from FMS. They're teasing a new 1/18th scale Toyota FJ Cruiser. Again, this is listed as a 1/18th scale, and for reference, it's only a little bit bigger than something like an SCX24. The wheelbase is 158 millimeters, and the wheelbase of a stock SCX24 is just over 133, so not that much different. It does have a very scale body with an opening hood and doors and a full interior. The chassis that sits underneath of it is a very typical ladder frame chassis with a linked suspension to solid axles. The axles are a regular ring and pinion style versus a worm gear like the SCX24 uses. It does have lights that appear to be controlled from the radio, probably very similar to the 1/12 scale Jimny that they released here recently. It does have solid axles versus, a true to scale IFS style setup, but regardless, just an overall good looking small RC. Didn't have full details yet on the price as of the last that I could find the information being posted, but I'm sure that will be out soon. And speaking of FMS, they also released a 1/6 scale Jimny. But before you get too excited, it is 1/6 scale, but the model that it's referencing is a very small vehicle, an LJ10 Suzuki Jimny. So they were very, very tiny. So being that this is 1/6 scale, the wheelbase is still only 324 millimeters. So just over the length of a standard SCX 10-2 or something like that are usually around 313 millimeters. So not even a half-inch longer. However, you do have just a cool open top vehicle, hard body, fold down windshield, opening hood, just overall a very scale representation. The look hasn't been modified to make it look overly off-road capable or modified from the stock LJ10 vehicle that it's trying to replicate. Currently, this vehicle is listed as pre-order, not in stock and ready to ship, but the retail price on it is $319. So not terribly bad, fits in line with a lot of 1/10 scale vehicles and even cheaper than a lot of them compared to some of today's options. The current ETA for this shows September 10th as the availability, so just around the corner. Once they're available and in stock, I'll update everybody here on the Scale News Update. And one final non-1/10 scale story for the week, the Kyosho APIO Jimny TS4 Khaki. This is a modified version of the previously released Kyosho Mini Z with the Jimny body. They've gone with this khaki style flat paint on it. They've added some other scale details like a roof rack. Beyond that, pretty much the same 4x4 Mini Z that's been offered before. The Suzuki Jimny has definitely been getting a lot of love lately from several platforms. We've seen them in the past, but all of a sudden there just seems to be like 4 or 5 new options using this body. Never been a better time in RC if you're a Jimny fan. Next story is from Incision, and this is the new Series 1 light kit. This will be available later this week on on the Vanquish Products website, this is a specific light kit made for the VS410 bodies, or bodies that use that same style mounting. This is a plastic molded light housing that replaces the stock light housing, and incorporated in it is an LED with a heat sink behind it. Included with this kit is a light controller that also includes rear tail lights. The light controller allows the light kit to be switched on and off from the radio if you have an open auxiliary channel, or if you don't, you can simply use the switch that is attached to the light controller. These are compatible with 2 and 3S LiPo and will fit on any of the Origin or Origin half cab bodies. Again, these will be available on the Vanquish Products website later this week. And also available this week from Vanquish Products is the Comp Stance hat, the one that I've been wearing for a while. They're finally available and on the website. Hashtag Comp Stance. In addition to the Comp Stance figure, there's also the Vanquish Products on the back side. These are a flex fit hat, and even if you have a large head like me, they fit really well. Then we have some items from Proline. First, they released a new 2021 Chevy Silverado 2500 body. Now, this is for the monster trucks specifically, but if you're a Chevy 2500 owner, monster truck bodies have been repurposed to be used as scale or crawler bodies for forever. So if you're only looking at scale or crawler stuff, there's a chance that you didn't see this one pop up. Proline still lists this as coming soon, so I imagine you've got a week or two before they're ready to ship. And then next from Proline, last week we talked about it, but this week they're here, the Proline 2230 U4 edition Hyrax. Yes, Proline did have a Hyrax available previously in 2230, but it was not made for the size that would be commonly used in U4, specifically on trucks like the Lasernut. This is a taller option with rubber that's more focused towards the needs of those who are looking to do from U4 style or rock racing in general. The width on these looks really good. Not sure if it's just the photos or what, but it looks like they're a little bit narrower than just the regular 2.2 style Hyraxes, which I think would be a nice profile. The 2.2 is a really big wide tire, so these do look great, and the narrow profile may help from them wanting to just pizza cutter so badly right away. Like the new Silverado body, these are still listed as coming soon, so you'll have to check back before you'll be able to get yours on order. And with how things are selling lately, I suggest that you do it as soon as possible. And lastly, from Proline this week, they've got their new Front Runner drag wheels and tires. These are a front drag racing wheel that's kind of like a 2230 style. It's got a normal size outer bead, and then on the inside, large diameter, so there's even less tire. It's got a very odd shape that, again, like a 2230 with a dual diameter. I believe what they're going for is to eliminate the ability for sidewall flex to have any effect on the control of that car. They aren't the first to do this. I believe DE Racing came out with a set of these last year sometime, but of course Proline is hitting the market hard, and if this is an advantage, it's likely something they're going to try and do themselves as well. With all of the options for rear tires on the drag cars, having some front tire options now, logical choice. And for those of you in the Northern California area, Delta RC is hosting a big cash days this coming Saturday. Going to be a big event, $100 buy-in, so the pot to the winner definitely going to be a large one. Think that I'm going to try and make it out to that one, shoot some video. Cash days are always a fun event to go attend. I don't think that I'm going to go give my $100 away, but at least I can point a camera at some fast cars. I'll post a link to where you can find more information on that event in the description below. This week, CrossRC posted a teaser of a new 8x8 that they've got coming out, and it also said that there's some new 4x4 models coming as well. Their 8x8 that they had before, I think, was called the BC8 Mammoth, which I always was tempted. It just looked so cool. Big 8x8, I would never drive it. I always kept myself away, but still looked really cool. Was always one. Maybe this new one will just be so cool that I'm unable to pass it up. So we'll keep an eye out for actual release information on this new 8x8 from Cross and see if it's anything that really just checks that must-have box. While doing my rounds checking for news stories this week, I did notice something that had recently been added to the Exotech website. And this time it wasn't a new product, but an announcement that they added to the very top. And it says, please note, due to the lack of air flights, the post office advises that international shipments can be delayed up to 4 weeks. Please note this service advisory as we apologize for the inconvenience. Now, we've already talked about shipping costs and shipping delays that have been happening and will continue to happen into 2022. But now we're starting to see them note this about air flights, which has not been something that up to this point I have seen. So granted, that is on international orders, but of course, those of us that order things from outside of the US and have them imported in, I imagine that this could start to trickle down and we could start seeing this affecting other items there as well. We've been talking about it and I still predict that it's going to go on for at least the next year, that the prices of shipping times, and all of those things affecting the retail cost of goods going up faster than normal for the next year at least. So with that, paying attention to budgets likely going to be important. And speaking of budgets, have you seen that Matt and I have the SCX24 budget build going every Wednesday? If you haven't, let me catch you up. Matt and I each take our own SCX24 and upgrade it with $50 every week. We're week 3 into it already, going into week 4 now. If you've got an SCX24, or maybe you don't, maybe it'll make you interested in one, give you something to do when you're inside and you can't play with your 1/10 scale. Go check it out. Week 4 uploads tomorrow if you're watching this on the day that it comes out. And if you're watching it after that, you can go watch it right now. But that's gonna do it for this week's news. For this week's question, I want you guys to make a prediction of something that will happen by the end of 2021. At the end of the year, I'll come back, see which ones were correct, and then read those on the show. Give it a shot, make it something crazy. Let's hear what you guys can come up with. But with that, that's gonna do it for this week's Scale News Update. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoy these videos, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.